These pillars here right by me are probably about, I'd say, 15 to 18 feet up. And those large ones out there are easily 30 or more feet. Tight squeeze out, and then this. This is so ludicrously steep. I mean, up there, seeing it at that distance doesn't even do it a justice. It's how freaking straight down this is. If you slept here, you're not getting back up. Good morning from our hotel in Pergamon. We just had a wee little bit of breakfast and some coffee. They try to really overfeed you at all meals here, and we just can't handle it. We're about to head up to see the ancient ruins at Pergamon, and then we're heading on to our next hotel. I know it's going to be a long drive. I don't know how long we're going to be spending up at Pergamon, but I'll see you guys up there. We have arrived up at the hill. Not quite at the tippy top yet. None like many of them, built right on the sea. It was built right by a lake that you can see down there in the distance. I'm sure the water levels were far, far, far higher back then. But we're heading on up in now to the entrance of the Acropolis of Pergamon. Can I give you scratches? Yes, I can. Can I give you baby scratches? Oh my God. There's like a dozen of them over there. I think it's weird they seem to fix all the dogs because they all have ear tags, but the cats they just let go, so they multiply rapidly. These ruins down here behind me, the first ones you pass while you're walking up here, were the palaces of the king, and we're heading on up to the main site, the main ruins. I know one of the big attractions here is the steepest ancient theater in the world. Oh, do they got a model up in here I can look at? I'm gonna go look at this model. And one of the other structures, I mean, there were several buildings here that made this city famous, but not apparently famous enough for there to be any other tourists here, which is very strange to me because I thought this was a more frequented stop. But this place had one of the largest libraries of antiquity. I think the Ephesus one was larger, and the obviously the Library of Alexandria, but I'm pretty sure this one was the third largest. There's also a Temple of Zeus up here. Well, there was a Temple of Zeus up here until some German archaeologists in like the 13th century stole it and brought it to Berlin to build a museum there for it. All of it is quite in ruin. I actually thought it was a little more built up than it is, but we haven't gotten way up there yet. Oh, and like always, the thing that is still freaking standing is the arches. After 2,000 years, the arch is still holding strong, and that is freaking beautiful. Well, let's just test the droppiness of the GoPro for the first time, and it seems good, even in the housing. Although the little light got a couple little scratches on it. It wasn't a far drop, just a 4 feet. It slipped off of my wrist because I didn't have the wrist strap tightened up. Lesson learned, but the lens still looks good. But I guess I'll find out if I get any sunbursts later. But man, that arch and view are freaking beautiful. Oh, this whole temple behind me, that first one I walked through with the beautiful archway overlooking the city below, was the Temple of Athena. And nothing of it exists any longer other than a few little stubs of the pillars. These pillars here right by me are probably about, I'd say, 15 to 18 feet up. And those large ones out there are easily 30 or more feet. This would have been a beautiful temple. It is such a shame this is in such an earthquake-prone area. Man, perspective is a crazy thing, because I think I had underestimated the actual size of those when I had just said 30 feet. Because, man, when you go out here up underneath these, it is just absolutely towering over you. And these pillars are just a fraction of the size of one of those pillars at the Temple of Artemis, which really helps kind of put into perspective how massive the Temple of Artemis really had to have been in its prime. I mean, they're just freaking amazing. This place is incredible. I mean, just like everywhere else we're freaking seeing other than Ephesus, there's no one here. Like, what is wrong with people? What are you all coming to Turkey for? Are you really just coming to Turkey for the beaches and stuff? I'm not saying they aren't gorgeous, but I mean, the history here is just insane. They call Turkey the museum of the world, and it is highly accurate. Look at these absolutely incredible views with this incredible freaking temple right here. Oh, I can't believe this place. So this down here in front of me was the steepest theater in antiquity. And I mean, it is an extreme angle. We have not gone actually down there yet, but I see people walking, so I know you can get down there. It's just incredible. I mean, even with the backdrop that would have existed down there, but is no more, you can just see the holes where the pillars and stuff went. You would still be able to see this just incredible freaking view. Obviously not with a modern city with a bunch of orange roofs down there. And this behind me, I'm pretty sure, was the Temple of Zeus. And this is what was stolen largely by the old German archaeologists and brought to Germany. So you can see them there if you go to the museum, the Pergamon museum there. I'm sure it's one of those things Turkey is asking for back, but they aren't getting back because they are trying to get most of their stuff that had been taken away back into their original places, which I fully understand. But at the same time, I think Egypt showed with the Arab Spring uprising and the complete just destruction, desiccation, and thieving and stealing of the artifacts at the Egypt Museum, that it's probably not the best idea to keep everything in one location, considering situations like that can occur anywhere at any time because people are crazy. And it's nice to have things kind of scattered around because this is everyone's history. I mean, this is 2,000 years ago, and we've dispersed across the world at this point, and this really is everyone's history. It should kind of be shared by everyone, but I do wish there was more remaining here, even though it is absolutely incredible as it is. Seems as if more people are arriving, so at least some people do come to visit this place because it deserves it. Although they're all older. Everyone down there is older than me and my sister. Younger people start giving a shit about history. This here is up behind the Temple of Zeus, and as you can see, it's pretty much all in ruin back here. No reconstructions or anything done yet. But hopefully, if more of you guys start coming to this place, they'll justify putting the money into the renovations and reconstruction. Either that or we gotta wait for augmented reality Because as of now, that augmented reality looks like, yeah. But we did get to see, our guide showed us a video on YouTube that the current German archaeologist who is working at this site had put together like an animation of what this city was. And man, it would just be mind-blowing to see that kind of glory nowadays. I don't know where my mom and my sister disappeared off to. They're heading on up there. Coming up on the cistern up here. For a city this size, I'm sure it's a big, deep one. This here behind me is the lake that I showed right when we had got here through the fence. It's a slightly better view up here of it, but also very depressing to see the extremely low water level. And that's where they would have gotten their water to fill this cistern, which I'm sure went way deeper than it appears to be right now, because it has been filled in with the sand over the thousands of years. There are a lot of sheep and or goat droppings everywhere up here, so maybe watch your step if you don't want to step in the little pellets poops, but they're freaking everywhere. I am so glad that we moved this stop for us though, because this was originally going to be done yesterday after the other two ancient cities we saw. Hopefully you have already watched those in my previous video or videos. And this was supposed to be seen before we went to our hotel. But we knew if we did that, we'd have to really rush the other stops. And we just didn't want to do that. So we moved this to this morning. And are just going to go from here straight to our hotel afterwards. But our hotel is way up past Troy. It's at the city where Gallipoli is, but as we just have no interest in modern history like World War I, World War II, that kind of thing, we have no interest in going to Gallipoli. So instead of that, we're gonna tomorrow backtrack from our hotel down to Troy and see that in the museum there. And today is all Pergamon, so we're allowed to just take our time here and take in this beauty. This is definitely and I know I say it at most stops I go, but this is a must-see stop because it is so easy to access. It's legitimately right in, like, just barely a detour between Istanbul and Ephesus, and then on top of that you're able to really drive up to the entrance, so even the walk up is very easy. Like Metropolis, where we went in the previous episode, was you used to have to walk up quite a bit of the mountain to actually get to the site, but here it's too easy to access and too freaking beautiful. You can't skip this stop. I hear some people over there yelling and fighting. I don't know what about, because I don't understand Turkish. So we're walking around now, and I think we're gonna head down to the incredible steep theater. This brick area here on the edge of the city really shows the destruction of the earthquakes they get. We were just walking by this building here, wondering what it was, and thinking maybe like bath or something like that, because the little doorways seem just too small to be like houses in any form. And because we came the path we did versus walking this path up, the sign was after buildings, and it was the arsenal from the kings during the Byzantine period. They stored their weapons in there, so it was just little closets of weaponry there. It was just interesting how most of them were at straight parallel angles, but then there were like two that were converging on each other and getting smaller at the end. And I said, it's like the Willy Wonka factory. It's just getting smaller and smaller back in there. God, these views are fucking stunning. I was just commenting on how it's crazy how much they can build this, like, legitimately right on the edge of this cliff, and it hasn't all collapsed. That's incredible.
Look at this shit.
Huh. there's a tunnel here that you could go in, but it's just a little too crammed with fucking water bottles from the assholes who can't just crunch their water bottle back up and put it back into their pockets. Stop littering at the ancient sites. Just stop littering, period. There's no fucking reason to. We're getting ever so closer now to the theater. And man, it is just dangerously level of steep. And the top section here isn't even as steep as the bottom. The bottom is like borderline ladder. That is crazy. That's how not to do ancient ruins. They are just like barging through, snap a photo, continue on. Absolutely no admiring of it. And this archway system here that we're coming through is freaking beautiful. It isn't quite as beautiful as the archway system that we just saw over at Smyrna, but it is very beautiful nonetheless. But I did comment to my sister at Smyrna that I feel like the archway system wouldn't be quite as impressive if it still had its roof. Because part of what made that one look so incredible was that the roof was completely gone. And then the last archway is the one that they want to make sure you're paying attention and you duck your head down a little bit. Hello. Hello. So this complete ruin here behind me was the library, believed to be the third largest library in antiquity. They think it had about 170,000 books in it. And he was actually just telling us, oh, and this right here was the Temple of Athena, which is what we saw when we first walked in. We did like a circle up and around. But he was just talking to us about how obviously papyrus came from Egypt, and for a long time that had been getting sent out and sold to the rest of the ancient world as a form of paper. But he was saying that our paper, the word paper or parchment, actually came from here at Pergamon, because they had created their own paper using a flattened goat or sheep skin. It's such a shame the library isn't such ruin though. Be nice if they built it up again like they did the Ephesus library. We are heading down to the ludicrously steep theater now.
I gotcha. And I'm afraid of heights. Yeah.
You did the hot air balloon.
Yeah. But that was something around me. That was an edge.
They are nice, easy steps though. So that's good. Watch your head. Maybe not, because I'm not quite tall enough, so you guys should be good. If you are over, I'd say 5'10", be very careful walking down here, because that's about the limit on this wall. Whew. Tight squeeze out, and then this. This is so ludicrously steep. I mean, up there, seeing it at that distance doesn't even do it a justice. It's how freaking straight down this is. I mean, if you slipped here, you're not getting back up. And I don't do super well with heights, neither do my mom and my sister. So they couldn't even step out onto these first steps because you do kind of start to get a little bit of vertigo. I had to come down here and back a little bit just to keep my legs from shaking because it's pretty terrifying. All these people are actually filtering in from a side path down there, which I think maybe my mom and my sister are heading to right now. But I wanted to get some shots from way up here first. This is insane. I commend all these people because I can't do it. I couldn't do it. I have escaped the death trap that is the Pergamon Theater. I cannot believe that place is actually open to people to go into because of how freaking steep it is. And I really can't believe the number of people who are willing to climb down those steps, because that's freaking incredible. Like, I could never do like full-on mountain climbing. I can't even do those freaking rock walls. Like, when I start going up them and I look down, my legs start shaking. I really try to conquer my fears when I travel and stuff, but that's just one of those ones I really can't break. I don't know, maybe one day I'll be able to, but I'm actually impressed with myself at how long I was able to stand out there. I was trying to wait for everybody to filter their way up, but it's like they more and more just kept coming. Like, I don't know how they were multiplying down there, but I just couldn't stay out there any longer to get a shot without anybody in it. But we have, I believe, wrapped up here at the Acropolis. However, this isn't the end of our ancient visiting here, our ancient city visiting here, because we are actually going to, I can't think of what the word is right now off the top of my head, but basically the old like hospital. So we're heading there next, and I'll see you guys there. Maybe I'll give you guys a little bit of a video of these cute kitties down here at the entrance of this incredible freaking site. Really, do not miss this site. And just like any other of the major ancient sites, it is definitely get here as early as you can, because we got here at about 9 in the morning, and we had it mostly to ourselves. But at this point, there's already a couple larger tour groups that are here. So as early as you can get to a site, especially if it's one of your priority sites, get there. And now I'll see you at the ancient hospital. I lied, we aren't leaving quite yet. This is, I turned and saw one more path we hadn't walked down yet. So I decided to walk down it because I still have no idea where my mom and my sister went after they decided not to do the theater from the top up there. And I don't see them at the entrance/exit. So I figured maybe they also came down this path. I'll find out when I get down here. As of now, it's purely ruin. I'm not seeing any actual real structures, temples, or anything like that. The sign did say that like the gymnasium was down this way. And oftentimes the gymnasiums were located right next to, or very close to the baths. Great altar. I wonder what god or goddess was set up here. And then they had the Temple of Athena and Temple of Zeus. So I gotta assume it was one or both of them. The Great Altar Upper Market. Upper Market. So it was an agora, though now in complete ruin. I love the tree growing right out of the center of it, though. Nature reclaiming its land. Obviously, the best example of that, the Prom Temple in Angkor Wat. That place was mind-blowingly beautiful with how nature was claiming it again. We've had our post-ruin Turkish coffees, done our wee bit of magnet shopping, and are now heading on to the ancient hospital. So I'll see you guys there. I already said yesterday's video that our driver was our favorite we've ever had. And my mom's umbrella broke. Actually, it's her second umbrella of the trip. And he actually went and bought her a gift of a new umbrella. So he really is the best driver we have ever had. They're really admiring it, aren't they?
Just get my pictures.
Yeah. I don't see my mom and my sister though. And they aren't texting me back. So I guess I'm on my own the rest of the trip. My mom and my sister aren't doing it because it's pretty ridiculous.
I ain't doing it.
So I'm gonna take a couple more photos and video here, and then head back in myself because my legs are about to start shaking. And we have let me put my wrist strap on so I don't drop my camera again.